And now, we're totally at the mercy of the shepherd. But I'll tell you what, that's a mighty good place to be in, because he's the one that's full of mercy. He carries that little sheep. He cares for that sheep. He feeds that sheep. He waters that sheep. He talks kindly to that sheep. And then that sheep begins to heal in his legs. And as he begins to heal, he can walk a little bit. But when he gets completely well, the shepherd can place him down there. But you know what happens now? Now the sheep is not running off and trying to bring the other sheep into danger. Now that shepherd cannot move for that sheep following him so closely. There again, he restoreth our soul. The relationship that he may have once had before he began to wander, now that relationship is restored, and not only restored, it's gone farther. And in fact, that sheep is even more attached to that shepherd, and that shepherd is even more attached to that sheep because he is a forgiving shepherd. He could have said, sheep, I've had it with you. He could have broke his leg, they could have skinned him out and had lamb for supper. But no, that's not what he's wanting to do. He's not wanting to have lamb. He's wanting to raise sheep. He's wanting to teach sheep. So he restoreth his soul. That time of chastisement is the most compassionate time that he has with his sheep. He's a forgiving shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters, and he restoreth my soul. But now he leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. He's also a guiding shepherd. You know, a shepherd never drives a sheep. You know, we saw the old television program how the cowboys got out there and they were driving the cattle to market and everything, and they sing their songs and they do all the things with the ropes and all that kind of stuff. That's because they're driving that herd. A shepherd does not drive his flock. A shepherd always leads his flock. A shepherd guides his flock. He always goes ahead of them. He's always going ahead, and they simply follow him. Jesus said, my sheep know, they know my voice, and they follow me. It makes you wonder when somebody claims to be saved, but yet totally will not listen to the voice of the shepherd, something is amiss there. Because Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice, and they follow me. He says, another shepherd they won't follow, but they follow me. He's a guiding shepherd. He's leading. He's never driving them. He's always leading them, and he'll always lead them in the paths that they ought to go. The psalmist said right here, he leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. The Lord does not lead anyone in the place that would bring dishonor to his name. Some people claim the Lord led them to do things, and they're totally contrary to his word. The Lord never leads us anywhere to do something that's contrary to his word or contrary to righteousness. God's not in that. But he is one who leads. He always leads correctly. As the songwriter said, in shady green pastures so rich and so sweet, God leads his dear children along. He leads us because he knows exactly where we need to go. Some sheep will say, well, I want to go this way. Another sheep says, I want to go that way. The shepherd says, you need to go this way. And you follow that sheep, you'll never go astray. You follow that sheep, you might think, well, I don't understand why he's leading me right here this way, because he knows what's there. Why would he lead me up this mountain through that little bit of narrow pass? Why would he make us call? Well, why don't we just stand here where the grass is? Well, it's pretty good. We got almost enough water. Why in the world would he lead us up that mountain path through that old jagged spot? Why would he do that anyway? Because he knows what's on the other side. That's why. He always guides us. He knows the way. He's been there before. A good shepherd, this is not the first time he's had his sheep out. He knows where the cool streams are. He knows where the green pastures are. He knows if one seems to be another group of sheep has already been there and eaten the grass, he knows where another one is. He knows the way. Jesus has already been there. He is in heaven. He knows how to get to heaven, and he knows how to get us there. So he guides us. He's a guiding shepherd, but sometimes it seems like he guides us to places we just don't seem to understand. Verse 4 says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. He's a defending shepherd. He leads us. He says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. In other words, we come to the place where death seems so imminent, or so possible, he's there and he leads us, and we can take comfort in the fact that he's there. You ever notice the phrase says he walks through the valley of the shadow of death? You can't have a shadow without the sun. You can't have a shadow without the sun. When you go through the shadow of death, it's because he's there also. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. You can imagine this shepherd as he leads his flock, leaving that pasture they were in, he's heading up a mountainside. Heading up to a little narrow spot in that mountain, a break of the mountain where he knows on the other side is green pastures. But yes, at the same time, there are dangers involved there. But the shepherd is aware of those dangers. He's aware of the fact that they're not going to stray because the way is straight and the way is narrow as it goes through that passageway to higher pastures. But at the same time, he knows there's dangers there because in those rocks, in those little bitty sides of the rocks, there's lions. Oh, the lions are heading out. The wolves are there. And they're ready to pounce out and attack the sheep and destroy every sheep that they can. And yet the shepherd is aware of that. And he goes on ahead of them. And then so many times, though, that lion may jump out, try to attack one of the flock of God. But yet at the same time, that same staff that he took and broke the legs of that little lamb. It's when the devil attacks, when the wolves attack, when the lions attack, it's that same staff that knocks the devil in the head. He's there to protect us. You know, we don't really know now fully how many times the Lord has delivered us. Sometimes we say it's our guardian angel there to protect us. However we describe it, it's the Lord's hand at work. There's times that I've come close to death and did not know it at the time. But as I look back in retrospect, God has been there and he has delivered me. Who was trying to kill me? No one but the devil. The devil would have me dead. The devil would have me out of the picture. The devil would destroy me. But that shepherd, who is that defending shepherd, was right there. And right as the devil would like to jump out and attack, he finds the shepherd's crook around his neck and he snaps back. And I'm still safe. It's been many times dangers were our way when we thought we could not stand. We could not come through this battle. But yet the Lord fought our battle for us. And he's the one who knows how to do it. We won't know till we get the glory. How many dangers, how many toils, how many snares, as John Newton wrote about, I've already come. Sometimes we know them. Sometimes we can see the hand of God at work. Sometimes we know what's happening. But you know, it'll surprise us to know how many times the Lord delivered us from death.